Well, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. That's no fun.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I think it's just from traveling. I had a long ride yesterday, about 5 hour drive, and overnight in the hotel and not eating my routine and all of that. Just I guess I'm fragile that way.
No, you're just like the rest of us. Can you imagine traveling all the time? And I can't even imagine what that would do to your health.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of the things that we were talking about with my uh, comrade that I met for this field visit on an upcoming project. Um, our company has a division of workers who basically live on the road and they just go from project to project. And many of them have families still and all of that, but they spend vast majority of their time living out of hotels or Airbnb or whatever. And I don't know how they do that.
Wow.
And truthfully, many of them probably aren't doing it in a very healthy way. And so I've been kind of noodling around with, how can I help that or support them somehow to maybe offer some alternatives or suggestions for optimizing their health in a difficult circumstance.
Yeah. Just an idea. I'll share this with you. I've got a friend that he's quite accomplished in the endurance side of the world. And when I say endurance, I don't mean marathons and triathlons. He's climbed six of the seven highest mountains. K2 is the only one he's not done.
Oh my goodness.
So he's done, I can't remember the one in Antarctica. He's climbed that one. Yeah, he's done them all. So um, this guy in Texas hired him just as his adventure coach. So he's been through the military. He served a mission for our church down in Chile, and he actually would climb up and through the Andes Mountains and would deliver medicines and so forth up to the villages. So he would just volunteer and climb these mountains to these remote villages and take supplies to them.
Oh
That
my
was
goodness.
part of his mission. So I mean, this guy is really well accomplished as far as outdoors and endurance. And he can you see my bruise from my
Nice.
race? Is
Yeah.
awesome. Anyway, he's actually the endurance manager or director for Spartan Race. So he'll put on these huge. There's one they call it the death race, and it's the last man standing. Anyway,
Oh, whoa. Yeah.
yeah, so they go for days. I mean, they just put these people through yeah, insane stuff. I call it insane, and people say what I do is insane. So it's
hmm
really insane.
Yeah, right.
But he he is friends with several people that are in charge of truck drivers. So long haul truck drivers, kind of the same thing. They're living out of their truck. They're eating gas station food, and really healthy lifestyle. And
Yeah, right.
what he did was he came up with an exercise program for these truckers. They would use their truck as kind of
Mm.
their gym. So, anyway, uh, I give you that idea, is there something that you could work with, like your suitcase, deadlift your suitcase, you know, press your suitcase, or, do the quick and jerk with your suit. Uh, just, a chair or whatever. Um, you might want to just go through and make an exercise program in that direction, just use what you got, or body weight stuff. I mean, but
Yeah, sure.
that's what he did. He developed a whole entire physical program for truck drivers,
Hmm.
and
That's clever.
and he did the nutrition too. He went to a truck stop and he said, okay, what would I buy here
Mm,
that's more nutritious than just grabbing the heat lamp chicken or whatever.
right. Yeah,
Makes me
exactly.
makes me sick to even say it. But anyway, so that he did that process. It didn't work out for him because a lot of people wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
He was doing it to sell the program. He gave it away to a lot of people, but he was hoping that he could have it catch on with
Mm,
some of these truck companies, kind of insisting that the truck drivers do exercise because, the longevity of a truck driver can,
yeah.
can, you know, rely on their health too. So anyway,
Well, that's precisely what I was talking about with my cohort, who actually is one of the managers or the leaders of this team that we have with, I don't know, there's probably 20 or 30 guys that do this in our company. And I said to him, look, I get it that you can't get these guys into a training or a room and say, here, do this and don't do that so you can be healthy. That's not how it works.
right.
It has to be their idea. And the
Mhm.
only way that I know to inspire somebody to make such changes their own idea is to challenge their thinking. You know, offering questions or things to consider, or you know, getting them to reflect on themselves and consider who they want or expect to be, or what they want or expect to do. Because I think, especially for men who are very busy and, just trying to hold it together, doing the work thing and whatever they've got going on at home, they're not thinking about the future in these terms. And I think, I guess, maybe I'm way off, but it just seems to me like you have to start there before you can give anybody some instruction about, okay, so now what do I do? You have to begin with, you know, is this really, have you thought about this before? I guess.
Why would I do this?
Yeah. What's even,
What's the
yeah,
purpose?
why?
Yeah.
What's the purpose? Why would I bother? Why does it make any difference for me to, choose healthy foods, or maybe go for a walk after after work instead of sitting in the hotel with a case of beer? You know, if this is what I've done for 10 years, then, I don't see what's the big deal.
Right.
But why? Why would that be better?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. There's got to be a deep purpose behind it. The other thing is you've got to offer something that they can see themselves being successful at it too,
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, something that's very doable.
right?
It's not some, lofty ideal where we're going to expect somebody to transform to an endurance athlete here. That's not the mission.
No, no, that's not the point. And I think if you did that, you would probably fail really
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send you. I just remembered that somebody sent this to me. It's actually kind of interesting. The Canadian Air Force was having a problem just like this, and they developed, why can't I find it? Not finding it. It just came the other day. Oh, there it is. I'm going to send this to you. So what it's called the Cold War military workout for getting fit in 11 minutes a day.
Oh.
So the Canadian Air Force developed this, and it's actually kind of interesting to look at.
Hmm.
Um, I will forward this to you. And this same source, I don't know if you've ever looked at The Art of Manliness. It's a podcast,
Yeah.
blog. That's where this came from.
Okay.
I just sent it to you. The other thing that he has sent out is they call it the prison workout. So you can do it inside of your prison cell.
Yeah, I think both of those could be interesting because, if you're in a hotel room
You're kind of
and
in
maybe there's
prison.
no gym in your hotel, or it's very limited. A lot of hotels these days offer like a
Yeah,
treadmill and a
yeah.
elliptical or a bike or something. It's like, well,
It's usually pretty
that's
poor.
yeah, that's not the speed of
Or you've got somebody that's hogging it.
yeah, yeah. So, but a lot of the stuff that I normally do is requires no equipment too. So, in a limited space, I'm used to doing exercise in our living room where you just push the chair out of the way and get busy.
Yeah. Well, and I actually prefer that because I don't know and it's just me. Like, I'm just gonna say it's me, but I I just have a hard time going to a gym and waiting
Yeah,
for machines and watching the
yeah,
strutting and I hear guys, yeah, I work out for 3 hours a day, and it's like, okay, how much of that was work?
uh-huh.
And it's my problem. I know that. I know I I know I'm the one at fault here. I did find this other workout. I'm sending it to you here. So it's the prisoner workout killer body weight exercises for small spaces. So
That's a great idea. I will definitely check that out.
those just came to me while we were talking. So yeah, take a look at that. That might be helpful as
Yeah,
if it goes anywhere, that might be helpful in crafting that.
cool.
So you've been on the run this week, it sounds like.
Yes.
What's been your biggest hurdle?
Um, well, I don't really like to drive. Um, so I was pretty intentional this time about um, using it for my quiet time to spend time with Jesus, listen to good music or some encouraging podcasts that further help me in my relationship with the Lord. And those things help to pass the time when you're just staring down the highway. So that was,
Flying.
yeah, that was helpful for sure. But I think a highlight of that was yesterday on the way home, and I'll share this story with you because I think it's important. We talked a lot about mentorship, between us. I mean, this is mentoring. You're mentoring me, and sometimes I can mentor you, and we both gain from that, right? And so I got on the line with an old mentor of mine, who was vital in my earlier years, and for professional things, for marriage stuff, for spiritual things, just all of that rolled together. And I hadn't spoken to him in several months, and I finally got him on the phone, um, because something happened, and it's like, oh, that makes me, he thought of me and sent me a text, and he's like, hey, I just want you to know I was thinking of you. And I'm like, all right, that's it. We got to get on the phone. And so yesterday was that day, and we spent an hour on the phone, and I just shared with him how impactful his investment in me had been, um, lest he thought that maybe it didn't work, or his investment wasn't really worthwhile. I mean, it cost him a lot of time and energy and even money at times when I was in a hard spot. And he just willingly gave to me. And I wanted to share with him years later how impactful that was. And um, he appreciated that naturally. And because I don't think we hear that very often, that kind of feedback.
It's kind of the
And
thankless
so,
side of things. Yeah.
yeah, so I guess that I don't know what else is the point of that story other than mentorship works, and we need to be involved in that. And he is my example to be about those things also now. So I'm trying to make myself aware and open to such opportunities and take advantage of those should they come. And just reinforcing even the value of our time here because I know that it works. So,
It's funny you mentioned that. Last night I was just really frustrated. I've been mentoring this, I'll say person so that they're protected if they ever see this. But I've been mentoring this person for quite a while, and I got some information back, and it's like, man, we've plowed this ground before.
mhm,
We have been through this several times. Why are you retreating back to where you were? Because you've made so much progress. And man, I was really frustrated. And what I found out, and I'm going to be totally transparent and confess here, I was feeling really robbed because I had spent so much time, so much effort, including money, and it was like, why are we back where we started again?
mhm,
You know, and I I looked at it and I really processed it and analyzed it, and I thought, Todd, you're making this about you.
yeah,
I have to, and I'm struggling with this right now. Okay, from last night, I'm doing better than I was last night, but I'm struggling with it right now because I have to find a way to give without any expectation. To your point,
yes,
this guy did it, and the fact that you called him back later, you were thinking of him and thanked him. What a great thing. I did not get thanks last night. It was like, what do I do about this? And it's like, oh my
mhm,
gosh, we have been here
yeah,
before. We have plowed through this, and you've made so much progress. Why are we back here? And then it
mhm,
became all about me, and I'm repenting today, and like I say,
mhm,
I'm confessing and repenting today. I'm not done yet. I've got to sort that out, but I've got to get to a point that, you know what, regardless of how they respond, I can control me. And my choice is to mentor, to give, and I've got to get back to that where I can give without any expectation. They may or may not receive it. They may or may not do anything with it, but that's not my point. Uh, this person has asked me to help. It's not that I've forced it on them. They have
mhm,
truly and heartfelt have come to me and said, I need help with this. What about the, and I mean, it's been a continual process for a long period of time. And, just to see that retreat, and I'm thinking, man, I put all this effort into you. Why aren't you changing? And then I discovered it was about me, and I'm frustrated with me today.
yeah. But I mean, truthfully, isn't this among the hardest things about being human? The giving without an expectation.
Yep,
I mean, maybe it's different in other parts of the world, but surely here, everything is about, well, what have you done for me lately?
yep,
Right? Wherever you look,
yep.
it's sure, I'll give you, but you're going to give me in return. That's just the programming that we've all got. And I don't know if that's just innate to humanity or if it's
I
exasperated by our culture, but regardless, it's really, really hard to get into that place. And I'm with you because I'm not very good at that either.
Well, I think it is part of our human nature, and I think it is exacerbated by our society here. We're wealthy, we're rich, we're abundant. I mean, we've got it all. My son calls it first world problems. Oh, I don't have Wi-Fi. My day's ruined. It's like
Yeah.
there's people other places. Man, I found a little crumb of bread. What an awesome day.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And what frustrates me is I thought I was past that. I thought I was, and to finally, to suddenly find out that I'm not past that. I'm still, I'm still
Look,
human. I'm still
the
influenced
very
by
thing,
society. What have you done for me? You've never thanked me for all this,
yeah,
which is not true. And this person has thanked me, but you know, yeah, I made it about me, and I was wrong.
yeah. Isn't it kind of revealing to recognize that the very thing we find ourselves critical about in the other person, here we are doing it
Reflects on us,
ourselves.
doesn't it?
Hang on it. Like how could you have regressed and went and then here we're doing the same thing with something else perhaps and then
Yep, yep. I went right. I was
yeah.
right there with them. Yep, you're absolutely right. It was just totally a reflection of me.
Mm. Well, maybe that's why it happened. Um,
And maybe
yeah.
that's what I do is I thank them. Thank you for pointing out my weakness. I'll fix
Mm.
this. Thank you.
Yeah. I can't help but think, because of what today is, how Jesus must have felt.
Oh, I thought of him last night. I thought he gave without expectation. He gave
Yeah.
absolutely willingly. Um, I call it an infinite gift. Whether somebody rejects it, whether somebody absolutely fights against him, he did it anyway for that person, for you and me.
Yeah.
Whether we accept it, whether we reject it, whether we fight against it, it doesn't matter. He did it.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. And I have to admit, I did think of him last night. He gave without any expectation other than to provide us an opportunity to say, yeah, I'm in.
Right. Yeah. I was writing this morning about that idea, and the part that struck me today was we understand the incredible pain and suffering and torture that he endured, being fully human, but also being fully God at the same time. He knew that more people would reject him than receive him,
Yep.
right? And he did all of this knowing that at any moment he could have stopped it.
Oh, yeah.
So for some of the things that, I might feel like I'm suffering, I'm really helpless to change it, at least in that moment. I just simply have to endure. But he had the added burden of wrestling with the notion that he could stop it and then chose not to.
Yep.
And so that to me is like way level up in the amount of giving that I'll ever have to experience.
He's God. He could have stopped it.
Yeah.
Could have stopped it immediately.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is he even asked his father, our heavenly Father.
Right.
He even asked, "Is there any other way that we can do this?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
is there any other way?" And what's interesting is he quickly answers his own question. Not my
Mhm.
will, but thine be done.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know it's pretty humbling today when we
It
think of
is. Yeah.
the silly things that we have to give up or sacrifice or to give without expectation and how small it is in comparison to what we've been given. Yeah, that's what today is for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great discussion again. Can you believe it's 8:30 already or 9:30?
Yeah, it goes fast.
It's crazy. Chad, I appreciate you, and please know that you do mentor me more than
Mm,
you know, and I'm grateful.
mm,
I'm grateful. Um,
yeah,
that's the reason I'm here every Friday. Is I can hardly wait to talk to you. It's,
yeah, it's good. It's good for me too. And I think as I find myself talking more and more about mentoring in different conversations I have, I'm entirely convinced that there's like a bonus benefit of the mutual mentoring
mhm.
arrangement where it's not just, me and a young person, where it's more one-sided, but having it be mutual like this, I think is incredibly powerful.
Well, I don't know about you, but I have to reflect on what I'm doing, even when I'm giving. You
For
know,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of a checkup. It's okay, am I doing this?
Hmm.
Because we can give great advice, but
I know.
am I doing it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great. Well, how can I be helpful?
Um, I don't know. Let's just keep our eyes on Jesus this weekend because that's what it's all about. And I expect that there will be extra trouble, if you will, this weekend from the unseen part of our existence. And um, we know our enemy doesn't like this season.
Yep,
And so we should expect some extra trouble. And of course, you know that Angie's not well, and there's extra things going on there right now too. So just continued prayers for her and her health.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
um, but yeah, that's
Well, even with the extra happening, I know that the extra will happen on the other side of the coin too.
yeah, absolutely.
And we know in the end, God wins. We know the
Yes,
winner already.
yes, yes. We have great hope, and that is
Yeah.
sometimes what it gets us through the day, having that great hope. So,
Well, that hope is our faith, and the faith is the action of just, like you said, enduring. So
yep,
awesome. Okay.
yeah,
Well, give Angie my best, and
we'll
have a
do.
great Easter season here.
Yes,
Happy Good Friday.
likewise. All right. Thank you, Todd. Have a good
Thanks,
one.
Chad. We'll
Bye.
see you.